Hi, Billy Mays here for the Little Country Handy Pillow.
A big push by the 5, and up the racetrack, he catches the 1. Chastain into the wall. Big contact, caution comes out again.
Are you tired of sitting in limbo? Lost somewhere between planes of existence?
Will he have enough fuel to come all the way back around? They're wrecking behind him. The caution will come out again. There's more overtime.
That does it. We are not going to just sit here anymore. We want some goddamn answers.
Why isn't anybody telling us anything?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
It's about fucking time.
2 to go from Nashville. The 5 doesn't go. They bottle up behind him. Big wreck for the 8.
Out of fuel.
5 was out of fuel. Caution comes out again.
Certainly want to thank you for all your patience. We know that you are eager to get going, and we will certainly pass on any information as it becomes more available.
White flag here by 2, yellow's out, crap.
One more time, we're going to try overtime. They didn't get to the white flag.
All right, everyone, it looks like we are all ready to move on.
Off turn 4, Logano is going to win in Nashville.
Finally, we can all move on.
All right, everyone, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the gates of hell.
All right. Hello, welcome in everybody. I was going to try and stream on Kick as well, but we are having some technical difficulties that we tested last night and they worked perfectly fine. Apparently they're not working now, so I don't know what to do. But nonetheless, we're going to roll on with the podcast here tonight, episode 77, Full Send Mast podcast. We got lots to talk about tonight, from everything with NASCAR series at Nashville as well as the F1 weekend there at Austria. We're also going to do our infamous Bonehead of the Week, Driver of the Week segments, a little bit of conspiracy moment, go over some point standings as well, and then preview the races this weekend with an onslaught of races from IndyCar, Formula One, and NASCAR. But first off, I got Tom with me here tonight. Tom, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm great. I'm living the dream, baby. About to talk about some racing.
Yes. I'm excited to talk about racing. I think why our Kick stream is not working is because maybe it's because I restarted my computer. think that might be the issue because it doesn't say. I never had to click the go live button on the bottom for my normal OBS thing, so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure. We'll do another test run after this podcast if we can figure it out for next week. But yes, I'll promote the kick a little bit here. We want to talk about a little bit why we're gonna go do some kick. Currently want to maybe branch out to another platform for a little while. Since we're having some issues with our YouTube channel at the moment. Unfortunate, unforeseen issues that we came across that we were maybe a little ignorant about, didn't understand or know. So we're gonna try some different stuff here in the near future with Kick. So go follow us on Kick. That'd be awesome. That link is, I believe it's in the description below of this live stream. If not, I will get it updated for next week. But we'll start this podcast off with the usuals. Let's go over a little bit of news. I think the first bit of news, which I thought was absolutely comical reading this one today or yesterday, whenever it came out. Oh, this is great, dude. even and the most unreplaceable drivers could be replaced, it seems like, because the superstar, the greatest driver of our generation, is not going to be racing this weekend at Chicago. That is your superstar, Hailie Deegan, being replaced by Joey Logano this weekend with AM Racing. Man, how have the turntables have turned? The tables have turned. I don't even know.
Karma. That's all.
It's great. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, this is hilarious. Watch this car end up becoming a top 10 car. Because it is. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I guess the YouTube career might work out just fine. So.
Just gonna have to build a lot of go-kart tracks.
Yeah. How many go-kart tracks can she build? I don't know. We'll figure that out over the near future. I think it's hilarious. I think it would be funny if they would have put Brett Moffitt in instead of Logano, though. That would have been even better. Like, that would have been great. Remember the beginning of the season, though, Tom, when AM Racing announced that they were going to run 2 cars, but they were not going to run the 25 full-time, just part-time? And we've not seen it yet. Not one time.
Well, there's a reason why. Because all the 25 cars parts went to the 15.
Yeah, and then they fired half the team.
Yeah.
I think it's comical. I think it's great. Watch. It's just the thing is too is I was reading a lot of the posts and everything that came off of this, and holy cow, man, everybody's off the Hailie Deegan train. I mean, there's still like the 10% of people that are lost in the closet and whatnot, but
man, you remember when we were being fucking chastised over it? Like, I mean, put us on a cross and hang us next to Jesus, because that's what it was like.
We were the first ones to, I feel like, jump on the she's a bust, because it was honestly, I would say I was pretty supportive the first 2 years. I mean, it's tough to transition from ARCA to trucks, especially with some of the strength of field. But then we got to year 3, and I think it was that Vegas crash. I think that was one of the first videos we ever made. I mean,
it was the first video.
Yeah, it's just like at that moment, I realized that it was over, and we stuck with that pretty much since the inception of this channel. So,
and then we made the stats video.
Yes, the stats.
That was
video.
The first viral video that we ever did. Yeah.
Oh man, and nothing's gotten any better. I mean, can you imagine if? Let's put this into real life terms, Tom. If you got a job and you completely sucked at your job and got a promotion, would that happen? Could that happen in IRL? Let's say you were the worst.
Dollar General knee pads, probably. Ask Connor Daly.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine being the worst employee in your business and then getting a promotion over people that are better at your job than you are. I mean, I couldn't imagine that. But that's what happened. I mean, America. Yeah. Early happy 4th of July to everybody, by the way. Tom brings that up. Oh, man. All right, I don't want to spend too much more time on that. There's nothing more you could say. I mean, we've said everything we could say over the last 16 months on this this networking broadcasting company. So I mean, there's just nothing else we could say, man. There's just nothing else we could say. It is what it is. So good luck to Logano this weekend. My next little bit, though, this is kind of a two-parter, though, with McLaren. What's up with McLaren? It seems like every week for the last 5 weeks, we've jumped on this podcast and had to say something about McLaren. And here it is again. Alexander Rossi is going to be departing McLaren at the end of this season after his 2-year stint there. And then Lundgaard is now going to be moving into McLaren in 2025. What is happening there, man? This is the most roundabout turnaround. Whose job is it this week? Or what is it? It might be your job, but it's not your turn, or it's your turn, but it's not your job. Like what do we say? Like what is the saying here? Like McLaren is a revolving door of cancer, toxicity, clownery, buffoonery.
If you really start looking at it too, Alexander Rossi has had an awesome season this year. And compared to Pato O'Ward, they're 4-4 on races, where Pato has beat Rossi 4 times and Rossi's beat Pato 4 times. I don't know how you can get rid of a driver that can do that with your star athlete driver that you have at McLaren. I don't. Well, I kind of understand it because I mean it's Zach Brown. What else do you expect? Seriously. I mean, McLaren is a freaking mess, and we'll go into the F1 segment here in a little bit. But my God, you guys, from the bottom of my heart, y'all need to chill out. Like, seriously, go get some marijuana, Mary Jane. Just go sit on the couch for a week. Just chill out. My God.
Bad.
It's terrible. It's a horrible outlook, too.
They're the new Mercedes, man, but they're worse because there's no consistency there. I mean, their driver lineup it's a week-to-week thing now. Like, it's not even consistent. Yeah. Like, how do you like, Teo Pourchaire got like 2 weeks behind the wheel of the car and they fired him. I mean, Malukas didn't even get to step in the car. I mean, Callum Ilott got basically overlooked for Teo Pourchaire, just for him to get fired to bring in to bring in who's in the car now. No one's who's in it next week. Who knows? Like, it's like, I don't get it, man. I can't. Look, this is another reason I don't like him.
There's more consistency at Red Bull with Perez than there is in the whole operation of what is McLaren. Seriously, I mean, at least they go all in on the terrible driver basket.
That's true. I mean, they're not going to give up on Pato or Orlando, and those are their 2 token children. Everybody else around them just keeps getting pulled in, pulled out, put in, put out. Run them around a circle.
Watch.
Yeah. Oh, Piastri will definitely be next. If Piastri doesn't win a Grand Prix this year, he's done. He's canned.
Yeah.
He'll be gone. They'll bring in the next sorry sap and soul to get the life beat out of him. I mean, what else is going to happen? Yeah, I don't know, man. I really feel bad for Lundgaard. I feel like they were finally building something there at Rahal. I mean, Rahal's terrible anyway. I mean, well, not terrible, but
he was the best driver.
Yeah, he was carrying the team. That's what I mean. Yes. And it's just like, come on. Oh, I don't know. Alrighty. Well, last little bit of news here. After the Sunday race at Nashville for the Cup Series, we saw Hosafar make some contact with Harrison Burton under one of the yellows. $50,000 fine, 25-point penalty. I mean, BDN.
Yawn. Next.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I can't believe it. Alrighty. Let's start going over some of the races this weekend. We had Trucks Xfinity Cup at Nashville, F1, F2 at Austria, and then ARCA at Berlin. The Truck Series race on Friday. Really, there's not much to talk about with this race besides the fact that Christian Eckes dominated it. Won stages 1, 2, and the race. It was never in doubt. I mean, there was points of the race where you're like, oh, maybe Raja's got a little bit of something running there in about 4th to 5th. Corey Heim was good at points. Big time run by Daniel Dye. I think he finished P2 at the end of this race.
Crap.
I was impressed as hell with what he did. And he was a top 5 car all day. I mean, it was impressive. I guess my biggest gripe, and it continues with the Fox broadcasting right here, Tom. What was it? One point of this race, they're 5 wide off of turn 4, slipping and slide, door banging, nearly wrecking. There's like 14 cars under a blanket, 5 wide. Basically, a big one's about to happen. And what does Fox have? They got Mikey down on pit road talking about an airplane ride while they're 5 wide racing. I don't know if you caught that or not, Tom, but that, like, if you go watch the highlight video for the race, they put it in the highlight video. Like, it was embarrassing.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched like 50 laps of it, and then I continued on my grind for the IndyCar Pro qualifying.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't really feel like I missed anything.
No, I had it on in the background because I was like, I'll watch the race, whatever. It's Friday night, got nothing going on right now. I'll just throw it on in the background, and God, dude, it was so freaking boring. Like, it was just like, Nashville at night is not good. I mean, okay, well, that's a bad way to say it was boring. 1st through 10th was boring. There was nothing going on there. But like, if you got back into like the outside the top 10 into like the 20th range, that's when you had those 4 or 5 wide battles that were freaking insane. But I mean, the broadcast is just terrible. I mean, it's unwatchable. When what was it? 11 laps to go. They go to a commercial break with 11 laps to go. They come back with 4 to go, and you're like, what the hell just happened here? Why did we go to a commercial break with 11 laps to go in the race? And then I was like, oh, that's right, it's Fox. That makes sense.
I didn't even realize Fox was broadcasting it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Fox is, it's terrible, man. And then Jamie Little's terrible play-by-play. I mean, she's awful.
I've been saying this since Phoenix of last year. It's like every time she calls a race, somebody died.
Yeah, dude.
You know, because her voice is so like somber and like she's always trying to like bring the gravity of how bad the situation is into the tone of her voice. And it's awful. It's terrible. Yeah. Like, I seriously think I'm going to walk outside to my garage and my dog's dead or something. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, Phoenix was bad last year. Phoenix was really
terrible.
Bad. You know, but Nashville was bad.
Oh, it was terrible. This was one of the worst Fox broadcasts I've seen. Like, this was worse than Clinter or Clinty, and then freaking Harvick and McJoy or whatever the hell. I mean, those guys are terrible, but this was worse, dude. Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, and Jamie Little. Enough said. Like, that is, like, we got A team, we got a C team, we got a D team. This is like there's not even a letter in the alphabet to describe this team. This was terrible. This was bad. This was awful, garbage. I mean, I can't stand listening to any of it.
S team.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The S team.
The S team. We suck.
Special teams. The special teams.
Special teams. Yeah, but at least the special team has something special about them. These people aren't even special.
They're special, all right.
They're special at being super special. Oh man, I just did not enjoy it. I don't know, man. It was just terrible. But yeah, Christian Eckes wins. I mean, there was some drama though in this race though. Like Clint Boyer obviously had front end damage. Like, why the hell was Clint even racing? He ends up getting involved in that stack up, end up destroying the front of his nose. I mean, whatever. It's Clint doing Clint things. It is what it is. Who cares? I mean, he said maybe it's his last attempt at NASCAR, which good riddance. I mean, honestly. I mean, what do you remember about Clint Boyer's NASCAR career? His Daytona flip in 2007 and the time he tried to fight Ryan Newman with his helmet on at Newman's window in the All-Star race.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny.
Those are like the only couple moments I remember from his entire Cup career.
I remember the Phoenix, what was it, 2010?
Oh yeah, when Gordon,
off a turn with
him
Gordon.
And Gordon, yep.
And him running all the way to the garages just to point his finger.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. If you're gonna make the effort to run over there and act a tough guy, throw a fist.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's kind of sad that we can point at his 15, 20-year NASCAR career and we can only come up with 3 moments that we even remember. He's gonna be more remembered for the terrible broadcasting than he is for anything he ever did behind the wheel of a race car. Oh man. And then also Stephen Parsons and Lane Riggs had a little bit of drama in this race. I mean, they both were door banging into each other. I think they were running like P9, P10 at the time. And yeah, Riggs end up wrecking Parsons, which again to the Carson Osbar thing. I mean, you're gonna give him the penalty for that, but where's the penalty for these two? What they were doing, like just let it happen.
Well, Riggs, they held Riggs for 2 laps.
Yeah, but are we getting a $50,000 penalty fine and a 25-point penalty?
No, but it still ain't right.
I agree, it ain't right. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, where's the consistency if you're gonna make something BS anyway?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Let them duke it out on track, man. Again, pull out the octagon right after the race, put it right in the middle of the infield, right on the front straight, and just let them duke it out.
I agree.
First one to hit the ground loses. You guys hug it out, and you guys walk off.
Yes, I love it. Dude.
It'd
be great entertainment. Who wouldn't want to watch that? I mean, I want to watch that. Just thinking about it. I mean, that's great.
I'd love to watch it. I would pay to watch it. Put that on pay-per-view. 30 seconds after the checker flag. I'd be paying for it. I'd have my credit card on speed dial with that.
Oh yeah.
I'd be watching it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you know how much more money they'd make? Then we could have less commercials because they could make up for their commercial money on the post-race altercations.
Oh my gosh, it would be phenomenal.
Beautiful.
I can't think of a better situation, honestly.
Yeah. And then they would have to have like a thing where you couldn't put anything on social media until 24 hours after the event. So in case you missed it live, you could still pay for it on pay-per-view for the next 24 hours to see it, or you have to wait the next day to watch it. That would be pretty great, man. I'd enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
See, why are we not running one of these programs or platforms, man? Like we could totally turn up the viewership, man.
It's because we're sane people.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. All right. Let's move on to the the ARCA race on Saturday, the Berlin ARCA 200 at Berlin Speedway in Michigan. Only thing to talk about, Swalish on pole. Swalish wins. I mean, Swalish, we picked it in the podcast last week. That's not a surprise to me, at all. So, another win by Swalish. Hopefully we get to see him in some more Xfinity races here in the near future. That'd be nice, but who knows? Who knows? Saturday's Xfinity race, the Tennessee Lottery 200 at Nashville. Gibbs on pole. Gibbs wins stage 1. Nemechek wins stage 2. Nemechek wins the race. Really the only major caution for Cause was when Allgaier got into Gibbs. I mean, sent Gibbs around off of turn 4. Typical Allgaier things, man. Like, whenever Allgaier does good, he finds a way to throw it away. And, I mean, granted, he wasn't going to win the race anyway. He didn't have the fastest car, but, like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't know. It's Allgaier stuff right there. I mean, the race wasn't amazing. I mean, I think this was probably the worst Xfinity race I've seen all year. And it wasn't for the fact that the racing wasn't good, but it was... I don't know. There's just something about this race. Like, I really wasn't tuned in completely to this race. I felt like a lot of things in this race are wrong. And I think a lot of it was stage cautions really kind of hampered this race. I mean, I would have liked to see some of the strategies play out. This is the first race I've seen all year where it didn't feel like tires meant a whole lot in the Xfinity series, which was surprising to me because usually they mean a lot. I think my favorite moment, though, was that wreck with Allgaier and Gibbs, and then, Chandler got involved and pancaked the right side of his car, but he hit it square. And my dad was in town, so we were watching it together, and I look at my dad, I'm like, watch, now he's going to end up finishing in the top 5 with this B-tail race car. Because if you hit those Xfinity cars square, dude, you add like 5% side force to those cars. I swear to God, man. They become faster. Where did Chandler finish? P2. I was like, dude, this car is going to be so much better now. That's the first thing I'd do if I was a crew chief on an Xfinity car. I'd be like, lap 5, just pancake the right side. Hit it square, obviously, because if you don't hit it square, you're going to end up doing more damage to the front end of the car or the spoiler. Just got to bounce off the wall square, just run up against it, knock that thing straight. Boom. 5% down, side force increase, and you're just going to start putting the hate on the field, man.
You think that's what Haley Deegan has been trying to do since race 1?
Oh, dude, she couldn't hit the wall square if she wanted to, man. That's not strategic at all.
Just a random thought.
Yeah, no, that is a good thought. I mean, maybe that would be one of those conspiracy moments right there, actually. Oh, man. Ah, so great. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know where Haley Diggin finished. I think she finished like 29th, maybe 30th, something like that. Another great result by her, improvement every week.
Top 30.
Top 30. Got to start somewhere. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, Toyota dominance. I mean, I kind of expect that. I think we both picked I picked Gibbs. You might have picked Allgaier in the
I
in the
did. I picked
last week.
Allgaier.
They're both fast. They're just outside the top 5 for most of the race, except for Gibbs. At the beginning was doing good, and then kind of got shuffled back through some strategy with the stages, which, again, stage racing, I feel like ruins them. It just ruins these races, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's what the fans want. All right, I'll just go over the F2 races real quick. The sprint race and the Grand Prix. Bortoleto wins the Grand Prix on Sunday, and Behrman with a dominant win in the sprint race on Saturday. There's not a whole lot of drama or anything involved with the F2 races. I mean, F2 is just so hard to predict. I mean, with the way that they set up their formats with the top 10 inversion for the main event, I mean, it is what it is. F2 is just, this year has just not been as good. We've said it multiple times on podcasts. Last year, when the battle between Porsche, Behrman, Vesti was freaking awesome last year, and we just really haven't had that this year, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's just anybody on any given week could win, just depending on qualifying or where you finish in your sprint race to move up to the Grand Prix. It just is what it is, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of drama this year. Not that the talent is any worse than it was last year. It just feels like the races are just not as good. I mean, and at the end of the day, none of those guys are going to really make it to F1 anyway. Maybe one or two of them at max someday. Maybe you'll get an attempt at an F1 Grand Prix. So the way the F1 is now. So yeah. Alrighty. F1 time. It's F1 time, man. The Saturday we had the Austrian sprint race. Really the whole trend of this weekend, though, right? McLaren versus Red Bull. McLaren, well, not Red Bull. McLaren versus Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perez is dog water, but yeah, so Verstappen up pole in the sprint race. Him and Norris put on a battle there during that race, swapping the lead back and forth multiple times. And then Piastri pounced on it and got to the inside of Norris after Verstappen retook Norris. And then after that, I mean, Verstappen opened up with like an 8-second gap at the end of it. Excuse me. So, easy win there for Verstappen. I mean, he did have to fight for it for a little bit there with Norris, but ended up pulling it off at the end. Piastri P2, Norris P3. So, again, I mean, McLaren is the best car on the grid right now in Formula One. Verstappen is just putting Red Bull on his back, carrying him right now at this point. And then let's talk about it, Tom. Let's talk about the Grand Prix on Sunday, man. What a race this was. I mean, interesting. Verstappen on pole for the Grand Prix. Leclerc, again, having issues at the beginning of this race, made contact with Piastri, ended up taking the wing off that thing, had to play recovery mode the whole race. Again, the type of luck Leclerc's had this year. I think I saw one comment that said Leclerc and Ferrari used up all their luck in Monaco, and now they're going to be doomed for the rest of the season. And honestly, it kind of is true, dude. I mean, it's crazy, dude. I mean, with what happened to Sainz in Monaco and was able to still come back to get that P3 finish, and then Leclerc with the win, not having any issues and being able to open up the gap and conserve tires well enough was impressive. But yeah, that was an issue. Norris and Verstappen, the battle raged on again in the Grand Prix. I mean, what was it for like 20 laps? Norris was just continually running down Verstappen. They did a little bit of swapping for the lead. And then it all accumulates to the lap 64 contact between Verstappen and Norris. I've seen this so many times over. My initial thought is, but they gave Verstappen the 5-second penalty at the end of the race for the contact, which didn't affect his finishing position because he had already had enough of a gap over Hülkenberg. I think it was in P6. So it didn't affect his finishing position. Besides, he was going to finish P5 anyway with the 5-second penalty. Norris did end up being DNFing off of this scenario, but let's break it down, right? So Verstappen's leading the race. Norris, he makes a move to the outside, trying to make that move. Verstappen was moving to the left slightly to try and be able to set up for the apex of the corner. makes contact with Norris, ends up having a puncture on both race cars. The way I see it, Tom, racing incident. I just don't understand the penalty on Verstappen. I feel like this is just two guys who are battling. Verstappen probably didn't expect Norris to be close enough to make a lunge to the outside. I don't think Norris maybe expected to have that good of a run to make it to the outside of Verstappen there. And they just came together. And it was an unfortunate deal. And Norris ended up was on the worst end of the deal, having the DNF issue that he had. But, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I've saw the breakdown from multiple perspectives, and I see it as a racing deal, man. I just don't know what else to think about it.
So, it may be a hot take here, because I'm gonna lean back on some previous races where you could take last year at Monza for specific, or you could take all the years that Verstappen and Hamilton battled each other, where they would go into a corner and the car out front, or had the wheel out front, had a car out front, whatever, when they're side by side like this. The car out front has the right of way through the corner every time. That's the commentators have explained it over and over again. The drivers know it. Obviously, Verstappen pushes it because he's a racer. So first look at that incident, I'm thinking in my head, well, Verstappen had the corner. Why didn't Lando back off? If he's going to back off, he's going to get DRS down the next straight anyways and can make another attempt. That's just what I first thought. Now, thinking back on the previous 5, 6, 7, 8 laps where they were battling up into turn 3, which was the action corner, Norris made the same moves on Verstappen. Verstappen was on the defensive almost every time. Norris pushed him off the track. Verstappen pushed him off the track. To me, that's a fair fight. I was having a good time watching it. I thought that was great. I mean, we're watching the supposed best drivers in the world go at it at different tracks across the world in these high-tech, extremely fast race cars. It's supposedly the pinnacle. But then we see the contact, and the whole world just absolutely explodes against Verstappen. But what you don't see, all right? Verstappen slowly crawled around the track, back to his pit box, got some tires on it, right back out. What did Norris do? He had a puncture. He threw a hissy fit like my frickin' 2-year-old, tore up his race car, got to the pit box, another hissy fit, and got out of the car and retired the car. He easily could have gotten points and been even closer to Verstappen in the points battle. All I see is a extremely immature kid in that Formula 1 seat who currently has the best car on the grid, and I see a guy who did the same thing that his competitor was doing to him, and that his competitor made a mistake going into turn 3 because, again, Verstappen was on the inside. He had lead car advantage going into the corner. He had control. You have to give that position away. That is typical Formula 1. It's always been typical Formula 1 ever since Senna was driving way back when. Even before that. So I see it as a view of that. Now, I'm not going to put blame on Norris. I'm not going to put blame on Verstappen because that was probably the best battle we've seen all year long at a racetrack between two drivers. And I'm going to say it's a racing incident. That was great. Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it too. I mean, I've watched it back so many times. I mean, it was a great battle. I like your point though with the hissy fit with Norris. That what's been the biggest complaint we've had about like him, Chase Elliott, Haley Deegan, Corey. I wouldn't even put Corey LaJoy in that. We'll talk about that later. But what like these guys or these racers, I guess they just have like this. not a superior complex, but they just can't find positives in anything. I mean, really,
they do have
they
a superior
complain
complex.
and moan, and it's because they're the most popular freaking people in their sports. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. You don't see these other guys like perfect examples like Ross Chastain or shoot, look at Hulkenberg this year. I mean, with the dog water car he's still putting up performances and he's still digging. He knows he ain't gonna win unless God himself graces him with glory. But I mean, there's different mentalities with certain drivers, and I agree with that with Lando Norris. I mean, Verstappen, he could have easily gotten a hissy fit too and parked it, but he didn't. He went out and tried to maximize his day. That's the type of driver you want in a race car. But I think, honestly, when it's all said and done with Lando Norris, I think it's just from the top down. You got Zach Brown leading the charge over there. It's his attitude and his personality is going to rub off on everybody underneath him. And that's why he likes these drivers like Pato. And he likes these drivers like Lando. Because they're the same. They're just like him. They're a bunch of crybaby whiners, clowns at the end of the day. That's why we can't stand these people. It just is what it is.
I agree. Yeah, it does start from the top. Shit always rolls downhill. It always does. And you can see it from the media perspective of Zach Brown and his extremely narrow-minded statements that he has of, his team is the best. We've always been the best. I mean, do you not remember 2016 McLaren with Fernando Alonso and whoever else was driving? It was Jolyon Palmer. No, it wasn't Palmer. It was well, he was a freaking wreck too. But good lord. Damn, who is it?
No, it
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like the roots of how they built the team means nothing to him. All it means to him is where his car is at in that specific day, in that specific hour, in that specific minute, in that specific second. That's all that matters. And and there is a practical business structure for that, but not in racing. Because in racing you have a set determined amount of laps that it doesn't matter how you cross the start finish line. If you cross first though, I mean, you're on top of the world for the day or for the week. I mean, you won the race. I mean, there's nobody was better than you. But when you got a driver that's throwing a hissy fit and completely tears up the car, and then you point fingers at Verstappen, but yet again, you're going in through all of the medias across the whole world and telling everybody how bad of a person Verstappen is. I mean, no wonder your driver threw a pissy fit. Yeah. I mean, it all trickles down. Trickles down.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you make too. With if you win the race for the week, you're on top of the world, but you can also be humbled just as quick by finishing last. Yeah. Like racing is one of those rare things that you're only as good as your last performance. I mean, it really. Yeah. I mean, look at we'll talk about that with Logano, but I mean, we make the joke that he was on a freaking milk carton, but I mean, really, you're only as good as your last performance. When you don't win in a couple of years, I mean, that's what you're going to be known as. You gotta winning solves a lot of things, but losing puts a lot of problems in your way too. So yeah, it's attitude is a big thing in racing, and yeah, I didn't like that look by Norris either, right, running out of the race. But I mean, like I said, like we both said, racing incident. You just take it as that, man. You're racing for the win, and when you're racing against the best, you have to beat the best to be the best. And if you're just gonna complain because you couldn't beat the best and something happened, then are you really the best? You can't even make that argument. Yeah. Yeah, get it. This is a real kicker though, is who ends up finding his way on the good end of this deal. Frickin' George Russell did.
Good God.
I was like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Of all people to Mickey Mouse themselves into a win, it would have to be freaking George Russell, dude.
Well, here's the deal, though. We're quickly finding ourselves in a 2013 or 2012 F1 season, whatever. I think it was 13, actually, where we had 8 winners in a single season.
Yeah, we got 5.
And we got 5 now.
5 winners for manufacturers.
It's the longest F1 season to date. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for
13 more races to go? We're
RB,
just not even halfway
buy
yet.
one get one free LMAO DTF LOL team to get a win with Yuki. Yuki can absolutely get a win if these shenanigans keep going on. You know,
I think Hulkenberg
And-
could win one, dude. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, Hulkenberg could win one. I mean,
Yeah,
anybody.
Piastri could still win.
Piastri could win.
I don't know
Yeah.
about Perez. I'm on the fence on that.
I don't know. No, Perez isn't going to win.
No.
That's a yoke.
I mean, shoot, Hamilton could win. I mean, with the speed we've
Yeah,
seen out of
absolutely.
Mercedes the last 3 Grand Prix, I mean, Mercedes is finding something right now. So, I mean, Hamilton could find a win. Yeah. So, yeah. No, this turned into a great season, and I think we still could see 3 more winners. I really do. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
So, Piastri P2, Sainz P3. Verstappen had the fast lap, but I think they took that away from him because of the penalty, which is unfortunate. But that doesn't really affect him in the points, which we'll look at that here in a minute. But yeah, point standings. Verstappen still your leader. He extends over Norris by 81 points, 87 over Leclerc in third. Red Bull 64-point lead over Ferrari, and then an 87-point lead over McLaren. I just want to mention one more thing though. I was watching the post race show for the F1 race, and man, dude, did they not take a dig at Perez? It was absolutely hilarious. They're talking about the results of the race, and they were talking about Hulkenberg. No, like, what did they say? They said we knew Verstappen was going to have to start carrying Red Bull. We knew there was going to come a time where another team was going to be better than Red Bull. And we were like, okay, well, when Verstappen is maybe struggling to win these races and having to contend and battle like we saw today with Norris, we always knew maybe Perez was going to be right there to help carry the load, you know, to keep him going in the Constructors' Championship. And here he is today getting beat by a Haas. I started laughing so hard as I thought that was the most perfect way to state that. Like, the way he said it was freaking perfect. It wasn't like a direct attack on Perez, but it was. I mean, if you understand F1 and how everything's been working out recently, especially with Haas not being like this powerhouse, kind of an underdog doing great things this year. I mean, I thought it was hilarious. I laughed so hard when he said that.
He got beat by Haas.
He got beat by Haas. Oh, and I started laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, and like we said, 2-year contract extension for him. I can't.
Clownery.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, and do you imagine how many other people you could put in that car and be even better? I mean, goodness gracious, man! Can you imagine put Yuki in that car? What Yuki could do? I mean, you probably have a winner right there.
Absolutely, you would.
Yeah, just ridiculous. But I mean, and that was just a basic example that I threw up there. I mean, you could probably name another 6 more that could do better than him right now. But
Gasly?
Yeah, throw Gasly in there. I mean, watch him win
Albon?
races. Albon. Well, I don't know about Albon. Come on.
I think Albon definitely could. If you put Albon in that Red Bull car, I think he could.
If you just asked me 3 weeks ago about Albon, I would have said that. But I mean, as of late,
Yeah, but we're talking
he
about
is
Williams here.
freaking. Yeah, but he's been making mistakes that even Logan Sargent wouldn't make recently. So, I don't know.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been rough sledding for Albon the last month and a half. But
I think Valtteri Bottas could.
oh, Bottas for sure could do good. I mean, look what he did when he was in Mercedes. I mean, he won lots of races there. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
3.
well, that's more than Perez. How many has Perez won
Well,
over the last 4 years?
More than Lando.
2? Yeah, true. Oh man. Alrighty. Let's talk about the Ally 400, the Cup race. Really, my notes. I'll read my notes that I have for this race. Hamlin on pole. Bell wins stage 1 and 2. Rain delay. Tires don't mean anything like always. Bell wrecks late. Crazy 5 overtime race. Logano wins. All right, so now let's talk about it. I feel like that summarized it good. This was the race that never ended, bro. Like. So on Sunday, my dad and my brother were downtown. We're building a deck in my backyard. So like we weren't really watching the race, but we were just going back in every once in a while to watch it here periodically. And so we go in, Bell's leading the race, win stage 1, whatever, and come back in during a pit sequence. And again, tires don't mean anything. I mean, what was it? At one point in the race, McDowell stays out to the very end of the stage, the first stage, to try and play some strategy. ends up hitting late in that stage. And I was like, okay, well, maybe if tires mean something, I mean, maybe he could drive himself back on the lead lap and keep himself in contention. No, couldn't race back on the lead lap. Ends up being a lap down for most of the second stage because of that whole ordeal. Had to take a wave around. So that kind of stinks. And then you saw Justin Haley, who had just pitted on fresh tires, racing against Bell and Hamlin, who were on 50, 60 lap old tires, and they were faster than him. Like, that's when you know you have a problem in NASCAR. So again, tires don't mean a damn freaking thing. I mean, the only reason you change them is because you have to, because you're putting fuel in the race car anyway, and you might as well put 4 tires on it because you're sitting there anyway. I mean, it's just, there's got to be another way to do this, Tom. I mean, we can't have tires that last forever.
Bristol.
Yeah, it's the only example that ever plays out. I mean, it's just...
I got one talking point on this whole race.
Yeah, go for it.
If the roles were reversed with Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson, you guys would have freaking put him on the cross right next to Jesus.
Yep.
You guys would have. But since it's Kyle Larson, it's okay. That's all I got to say about that. Pathetic.
Oh, I agree.
Pathetic.
I agree, 100%. I 100% agree with that take. That is a 100% fact. And that's why I'm going to nominate Kyle Larson as Bonehead Move of the Week, because that was ridiculous. I mean,
awful.
My thought on this, Tom, and I could keep talking about the tires until the cows come home, but there's just no point. They're not listening. They don't care. NASCAR fans don't know any different. They don't care. I mean, people that are even know what they're talking about don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I guess my biggest thing about this, Tom, is the overtime thing. This needs to be ratified. I think I said this back in 2019, 2020 at that Darlington truck race where we had like 18 overtime attempts, and that race went on for fucking ever, dude. I mean, I got that race. I said, I believe this whole unlimited overtime crap needs to come to an end. I think and I'm saying this as somebody that freaking hates Hamlin, and Hamlin was leading this race. I think we should only have one attempt at overtime. Maximum. Guaranteed every time. We should not have a race that turns into an absolute clown fest like this. It's ridiculous. This was embarrassing. And you got people over here saying, this is great for the sport. This is freaking out. This is embarrassing. You guys look like a bunch of idiots again. And you're proud of looking like idiots. And you embrace it. Like, one overtime attempt should be all we ever see. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. It's just ridiculous. The outcome of that race got determined by restarts multiple times and fuel that they're running out of because nobody saved enough to expect 5 freaking overtime attempts. I mean, except for Logano. I don't know how they did that. I mean, that car needs to be teched. I don't know if they have a bigger fuel cell than everybody else or what, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was wild.
So, but I mean, I don't know. Do you think this unlimited overtime is an okay thing for NASCAR? Because I think it's a terrible thing for NASCAR.
I don't think it's good for NASCAR. I don't think though that just one overtime would work. Just because, well, in the perfect world, we wouldn't have, Twin Tower sized tires on these cars. We would shrink them down, we'd get tire wear back as a thing, and we'd get some strategy in. But, in the perfect world, 2 to 3 overtimes max would be great. Because what you would see is, not really well, you might see some desperation. I'm talking through it now. But really what you would see would be, moves that drivers wouldn't take normally during the race to make it exciting. And those drivers who would take those moves wouldn't normally take those moves because they'd be, P10, P11, P12. But suddenly they find themselves in P3. Boy, they're going to go for it. And, we kind of actually did see that a little bit this weekend. But again, it's kind of a moot point because of how bad these cars are. And tire wear, there is none. There's no tires. I mean, I don't know, Jay. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, to be honest with you.
I get what your point is. I just don't like that. I don't know, man.
This whole situation could be avoided if there was no stages.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I guess my thing is somebody that enjoys IMSA and IndyCar and they can end races under yellow, and we've seen it several times over the last couple of years. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with a race ending under yellow, man. Like, I just don't. I mean, I know that 99% of those freaking redneck NASCAR fans with their freaking 20 beers deep don't want to see a freaking race end under yellow, but I don't mind seeing it sometimes. I mean, it is what it is.
What about the Alabama Bama man, Jay?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, but then again, like, we see the races end under yellow anyway if the caution comes out on the last lap. You know? What's the difference if the caution comes out with 2 laps to go? Just end the race, dude. Just end the race. It's okay. Just end it. But then again, the only issue and we saw this. This is my next gripe, Tom, and I freaking mentioned this with the LaJoy Dozer and Kyle Busch. I mean, you would see some of these restarts, right? And you would see a wreck happen. And then you wouldn't see the caution for like 10 seconds. And you could see a clear running order of what happened. And then they would go back and revert to the previous restart's running order. Like, I remember multiple times where guys would get up to like 4th place on a restart, and the caution would come out after they were already in 4th, and then they move them back to like 12th. I didn't get that. Kyle Busch ends up going to avoid, was it Chastain? Yeah. Ends up parking it, and then they give him his 4th place back. I didn't get that at all. And even the broadcasters didn't understand it.
Yeah, even they were saying it was ridiculous on the broadcast.
And they're the ones that they were gaslight you. Yeah.
Or they were digging at NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the egregious one, but there was every restart there was 5, 6, 7 guys in different positions that I could have argued shouldn't have been there, or they should have been higher or lower or whatnot. I mean, I think Zane Smith was one of them that at one point on one of those restarts didn't get a good restart, was back to 10th, and the next thing they know, they lined him up in 6th. Like, stuff like that just didn't make sense to me. Like, there's got to be, they always tell you, it's to the running order when the yellow comes out. And then when they can't set it like that, they'll go, oh, it's to the last timing loop. Well, nobody knows what your timing loops are, man. There's no lines to determine your timing loops. So you're just basically guessing, and if you're a fan watching it, which they don't care anyway, because they're, like I said, 20 beers deep, Alabama Bama man doesn't know the difference. They don't care. So it's like somebody that's trying to understand what the hell's going on, and I've watched thousands of freaking NASCAR races in my life, and I don't understand what the hell's going on. Then we need to reevaluate what we're doing here for restarts, man. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, and then you get, like, I mean, it goes back to the Daytona thing, too, the 500, where that was the most BS crap call we've seen. But it's the same problem we're seeing now. Like, and there's no graphics you can make unless you just paint, like, 50 freaking timing scoring lines on the track. I mean, there's got to be a better way to decide these running orders, because none of them I felt were ever correct. Not a single one of them.
Yeah, but if they at least painted those lines on the track, there'd be consistency.
Right.
And transparency.
Yes.
So I mean, what's the problem in that? There is no problem in that. At least you're being transparent with the people watching your races that you're putting on.
It's either that, or the only other way you could do it is do what other short tracks do, where at most short tracks, if a caution comes out that on a certain lap, they revert back to the previous lap's running order when you cross the line. That would be the only other way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to make it consistent and where people can actually understand what the hell's going on. Which, like I said, 99% of them don't give a shit anyway. They just watch the race and drink their 20 beers, and it is what it is. But the 1% of us like me and Tom that would like to know what the hell's going on. I mean, please explain that to me. That's all I want to know, NASCAR. Just explain to me how you're setting these running orders, or at least give us some visual aids on how you're setting them. And I would love to see that every time. We get what 20 minutes of caution laps that you could at least fit in a 30-second segment in of how we set the running order up. I mean, that's not a freaking problem at all. But we're not. They're not going to do it. They're not going to give us a graphic or anything. That's my biggest gripe.
Michael Waltrip talking about airplanes.
Yeah, talking about airplanes. God, I hated that. That was terrible. God, that was embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, this race. I mean, if you guys watched the intro, I had that little clip, and I texted Tom after the race was over. I was like, I know exactly what the meme of the week's going to be. It's going to be that scene from South Park where all the dead celebrities are stuck on the damn airplane because Michael Jackson was trying to win a beauty pageant and Billy Mays is trying to sell more towels to people in their afterlife, and they're stuck on this plane. And finally, they get back on the plane, and the flight attendant says, "Now we're ready for takeoff to transport you to the next realm of existence," and it lands them in hell. That's how I felt watching this race. It's just the continuous wait, and then the ultimate outcome was just, it is what it is. And I mean, kudos to Logano. I mean, didn't we predict in the offseason that Logano was going to make the Final Four? I think we both predicted that.
He's going to win the championship.
He's going to win the championship. I mean, even beyond the Final Four, he's going to win the championship. And it was like, we're waiting. And he was sitting, 17th, 18th in points coming into the race, ends up winning, locks himself into the playoffs now, which I think that's kind of stupid, the winning you're in BS crap anyway. But, I mean, that's the system we got, and he did what he needed to do. He won the race, and he made it on fuel farther than anybody else even could have imagined or thought, which was impressive in itself. I would like to see them tech that car because I don't know how the hell he could do what the other 39 guys couldn't do. But I guess that is what it is. But he's off the milk carton. I mean, I feel like I think I texted right after the race. It's like the championship run for Logano begins now. I mean, I really do. I think we're going to see a different Logano for the rest of the year, and I think he's going to be the best car going in the playoffs. Or in the playoffs, maybe not going in, but throughout the playoffs, he's probably going to be the most consistent. He's going to win races, and I think we see Logano hoisting the championship at the end of the year. I really do.
Yeah, he's in championship form. He proved it.
Yeah, that's so I got to change my opinion. My dad asked me, he was like, "Who do you think are going to make it? Who's going to win the championship?" And I was like, "Well, I can't predict who's going to win the championship right now." And this was pre-race, and I was like, "I'll give you my Final Four. I think it's going to be Bell, Truex, Larson, and Byron is my Final Four." And now I'm going to have to reevaluate that because I don't think that's true. I really don't. I think
Logano's going to be in it.
I think Logano's going to be in there for sure. Yeah. And I think Truex will be as well. And I think Bell will. And pick another name. I mean, at this point, I don't know. So, yeah. Anything else that I missed or anything else you want to add?
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much summarized a little intro there. All right, standings after this race. We'll start getting into playoff stuff after the Olympic break. We'll start pulling up the playoff grid when we get about 5 races to go in the season for the regular season. But right now, the points leader Larson extends over Elliott by 20, and then 43 over Hamlin. Drivers of the week: Nico Hülkenberg, P6 in the F1 Austrian Grand Prix. Zane Smith, P2, which, I mean, holy cow, I didn't expect that to even happen. That was unbelievable. And then Ryan Preece, P4. So in the Cup Series, so
I think that's even more impressive.
Yeah, that's way more impressive.
I don't know, but for me, it's between Ryan Preece and Nico Hülkenberg.
Oh, me too. I think I'd vote for Hülkenberg. I mean, P6. I mean,
yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Same.
That was a great run by him. And then for Boneheads of the Week, I'm going to nominate Brett Holmes in the truck race. I mean, he ended up having just an absolute clownery of a race. He ended up wrecking 3-4 cars early in the race, then spins out on his own, ends up totaling that thing. I mean, that was just embarrassing. Christopher Bell, best car in the field, and ends up making a stupid move and ends up tearing himself around, wrecks his race car. And then obviously Kyle Larson. I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, runs right over Chastain. I mean, ridiculous. And after he had made a mistake on the restart where he spun the tires and went sideways. I mean, he had no opportunity to ever make a move into that corner, and then he just did it anyway and wipes out 6-8 cars. I mean, stupid. Bonehead.
But it's Larson.
It's Larson, so
it's
nobody
okay.
cares. Yeah, it's okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I'll recap all the weekend's races. Interesting weekend of racing for sure. But we're going to run it back again this weekend with Xfinity Cup, Chicago Street Course Weekend, which we'll talk about that in depth when we get to it here in a second with what regards to our watch party. IndyCar and Indy NXT at Mid-Ohio this weekend for the debut of the hybrid system. Remember that. That's going to be big. And then also the F1 weekend at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix weekend. Notable entries: Xfinity Series, Joey Logano. And the number 15 AM Racing Machine, replacing your superstar, greatest driver of our generation, there in the 15 car. Kyle Larson, 17 Hendrick Motorsports Machine in the Xfinity race. Ty Gibbs, being the number 19 JGR, John Hunter Nemechek in the 20 JGR, Sage Karam's back in the 26 Sam Hunt Racing Machine. Excited to see that. Suarez in the number 36 DGM, and then Travis Carson Quapple in the number 88 Junior Motorsports Racing Machine. Cup Series, AJ Allmendinger will be in the 13 Colleague Machine, Gralla in the 15 Rickware Racing, SVG in the 16 Colleague, Austin Hill in the 33 RCR, which that's kind of dumb because he's terrible at road courses, but whatever. Jordan Hand in the number 60 RFK Machine, which I'm excited for. I'm a big fan of Jordan Hand. And then Josh Balicki in the number 66 MBM Machine this weekend. Yeah, Josh Balicki. Yeah. All right. Xfinity, the Loop 110 on Saturday. We're going to make our picks. I think this is pretty easy. I didn't even have to think about it. I'm going with Shane Van Glizzy. It's my favorite. I think he's going to dominate this field, and he's going to get his third win of the year. Continue to build those playoff points. And if he could do that, there's 2 road courses in the playoffs as well. So I could see SVG definitely making a run at the Final Four this year as a rookie. Crazy stuff. Then my dark horse, I'm going to stick with it until he finally wins a race or puts me out of depression. I don't know, one or the other. Whatever comes first. Sheldon Creed. It's my dark horse this weekend in the Xfinity Series race. If you guys remember, though, this race didn't hit the half distance last year when it rained out. So Cole Custer won the race, but it never was official. So I don't really consider it. I think this will be the inaugural winner this year. Whoever wins this.
All right, for my favorite, of course, I'm gonna go with Van Glizzy. I'm a believer. Ever since last year. In fact, I've got his car sitting right there, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that I didn't wear my one of my 4 shirts that I have now. Big fan. But then for my dark horse, I'm gonna go with Sage Karam. It's just stupid fast on road courses. It doesn't matter what equipment you put him in. He's going to be fast. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm going to give a special shout out here to Carson Quapple. Watch that guy do something incredible this weekend. Just watch.
Heck yeah. What do you think? How well do you think Joey Logano's going to do this weekend?
Top 12.
Top 12. I agree, actually, sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And you know what the first thing these Haley Diggin fans are going to say? Oh, it's because they gave Joey Logano the good equipment.
Yeah, it's a Penske car.
Yeah, it's not an AM racing machine.
Yeah, okay. Hope.
Yeah. All right. Sunday, the Formula One British Grand Prix. I'm going to stick with the whole trend of I think we're going to see more than the winners that we already have this season. And I think Oscar Piastri is due. He's been right there knocking on the door. I think that Lando's going to get in his head this weekend. He's going to make some mistakes, especially in qualifying. Piastri's going to qualify better. And I think Piastri's the one that gives Verstappen a run for his money this weekend. And I think he gets the job done. I'm going to take Piastri to win this race. I want to see it. And it's also, I'm picking him for the sake of Tom. This is one of his bold predictions in the offseason. Piastri's going to win a Grand Prix this year. And I think this is the 4th time I've picked him. And each time I've picked him, he's had bad luck. So I'm hoping that by picking him this week, I turn the luck around. You never know, right? So I'll go with Piastri this weekend. And then my dark horse, I'm sticking with it, man. Hulkamania's running wild, dude. Every time. He just keeps improving and improving and improving. And I mean, one of these weekends, man, I swear, we're going to look up and Hulkenberg's going to be on the podium. God, maybe he even wins one. Who knows, man? If he could do what he's been doing in the Haas machine, can you imagine what he was doing in that second Red Bull, outperforming the second Red Bull in the Haas machine. Unbelievable. I'm super excited, especially with this move to Audi 2025. I'm super excited to see the future for Hulkenberg in Formula One as it's bright, and I'm going to take him as my dark horse this weekend.
Absolutely. Look, I'm my favorite. I'm only choosing because of you Brits. I know you guys are gonna come out in force and just absolutely try to tear this guy down. But I am here for it. I am ready to watch Max Verstappen win this race and put all you guys to shame. I cannot wait for Max Verstappen to win this race. It's probably gonna happen too if Lando Norris is in the same form that he's in. Because even with the best car, can't beat the best driver. Just can't do it. Tides are turning in F1, man. Tides are turning. For my dark horse, I also was going to choose Hulkenberg. Because, golly, what a running he's had so far. But I'm going to stray a little bit here because we've seen this team at the bottom of the charts, worse than Williams at the beginning of this year, and they have slowly worked themselves up to become fighting for that P10, P9, P8 position every race. But I think he could get a really good race in this weekend, and I'm going to go with Gasly for my dark horse. So Gasly is my favorite driver in F1. I really like I like drivers with the never give up attitude. I mean, obviously, my favorite driver in Cup is Chastain. Never give up attitude. Gasly in F1, I really like Verstappen as well for never give up. I mean, Austria was prime example. I think Van Glizzy is the same way, honestly. I think he has a never give up attitude as well. I really, really enjoy watching those drivers go at it because they just don't care. If they mess up, whatever, put the car back on track. Let's go get some positions. You know, that makes the best racing out. Those are the purest drivers that we have in motorsports today. So, but just with that being said, I think Gasly is one of those drivers, and we could absolutely see a great result out of him this weekend.
Perfect. Yeah, those are some great picks. Alpine's really been turning up as of late as well, so that's a good pick. Fantasy. I changed my fantasy lineup for the first time in like 4 weeks this weekend. So I'm gonna change it up this week. I'm going with Verstappen, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Ocon, and then I could only afford Sargent, so that kind of stinks. But out of the other ones, I feel pretty good with the other four. So
field filler and a fantasy filler. It's
yeah,
all right.
yeah, and who knows? Maybe I'll put him on there for a couple weeks and he'll shock the world. Maybe he'll get some points. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh man, wishful thinking.
Oh man. And then for manufacturers, I'm gonna go McLaren and Sauber because McLaren is the best car on the grid. Whatever you say about them, I think that they could still get better performances than Ferrari, and I couldn't afford Red Bull, so I'll go McLaren. And then Sauber just because of Bottas. Really, that's the only reason.
All right, I didn't change mine. I got Leclerc, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Albon. With the recent awesome performances of Haas, it's actually been kind of boosted, but Leclerc and Perez on their own crap again, so just deal with that. And then I got Albon. It's just Albon, whatever. Field filler. And then for my manufacturers, I got Ferrari and Aston, which is also awesome. I'm really, really enjoying this F1 fantasy, if you can't tell.
Dude, the sad thing is I was looking at their standings, and right now, like, me and you are losing to Teasy, who's the other person in our fantasy this year that signed up, and he is kicking our butts, man. Dude, he's got it down. I was looking at his lineup, and I was like, damn, this guy's actually got it figured out. He had, like, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, who else did he have? I think he had Piastri, Sainz, and then he had, like, but was able to fit his lineup right, where he could get Ferrari or Red Bull and McLaren as his two manufacturers. And that's where he's been getting all the points, dude. So really smart strategy. He was banking on a lot of those, like he had Sonoda, Hulkenberg, and like one top driver like Piastri, and then he had like Gasly and Ocon or something. Like his lineup was looking good, man. So
GG,
shout out
brother.
to you, TZ, man. Great job. If you're watching the podcast, shout out to you, man. You're doing a fantastic job with the fantasy this year. Alrighty, let's do it. Indy NXT for this weekend, the Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. I'm going with Jamie Chadwick this weekend, man. I really am. I feel like it's going to play out a lot like it did there at Indianapolis, and I feel like it's also going to play out a lot like it did at Road America. And I think that she's going to have the pace, and I think she's going to win another race this year, man. It's going to be awesome to see. She's really been turning up. She's been climbing through the points the last few weeks, so I'm going to go with Jamie Chadwick this weekend. I really am confident about her winning this weekend. And then I'm going to stick with the guy I've been sticking all year long with. It was my dark horse. He's currently 4th in the Indy NXT standings, 2nd highest ranked rookie right now. And that's Miles Rowe. I'm really impressed with him. He has that never give up attitude as well. Like I remember at Laguna Seca, he had some issues late. lost some positions, but he fought back and gained about 3 or 4 more at the end there to kind of secure some of those points that he had issues or that he lost. So I like it. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think by this time next year, we'll be talking about him as well as the other Ricky Collette as your 2 championship favorites. So I'm going to stick with him for this weekend as my dark horse.
So I've been a big Chadwick believer, probably since middle of last year. I've basically have chosen her every race. I mean, this is going to be one of the races where I'm not going to choose her just because we're starting to get into championship rounds, and I'm a big believer in Foster as well. Ever since Detroit of last year, so I'm probably going to rock Foster for my favorite throughout the rest of the year. I can't choose Chadwick as a dark horse because she won obviously at Road America. So I'm going to take a championship favorite right now, and I'm going to ride it out through the rest of the season. So I'm going to go with Foster with my favorite. I think he is going to win the championship. I think what he's doing against Abel is just absolutely, Hulkenberg status. I mean, it's insane what he is able to do, and his what he's learned behind the wheel. I mean, it's like he's learning something every time he goes out on track, applies it to the next session, and just becomes that much better. I sincerely think Foster is the best driver in Indy NXT right now. I don't think Abel's a better driver than him. I think he is the face of NXT when it comes to who's going to win the championship. So I'm going to go with Foster. And then for my dark horse, I'm going to go with the rookie of Collette. Having a great run this year in the top 5 in points. Watch out next year. If he gets a ride, just watch out. I think Collette might be the next big thing.
Yeah, I agree. Him and Miles Rowe, 3rd and 4th in points as rookies. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. Only behind the guys that have been in NXT for 3 years, Foster and Abel. Yeah. So they're doing a fantastic job. So I can't wait to see those Miles Rowe and Collette end up battling it out for years to come here, and maybe next year in NXT for the championship. But I think the only flaw I see in Foster winning this championship is he's got to improve on ovals. And there's a lot of ovals that's down the stretch of the season. And Jacob Abel is definitely probably the best in NXT on ovals. So it's going to be a great battle to the end. I think Foster, while we're on some of these road courses and street courses, he needs to keep building that gap up a little bit, because I think the battle isn't going to be over till the bitter end, because I think Abel's going to fight back on a lot of these ovals. So I'm excited. It's going to be a great championship battle all the way to the end between Abel and Foster. I'm excited to see it. All right. IndyCar, the Honda Indy 200 this weekend at Mid-Ohio. The debut of the hybrid package. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to be glued to the TV to see how this hybrid package works out on the initial debut of it. I mean, the testing sounds like it's a good thing. The only thing I'm skeptical about here, Tom, is the fact that the drivers love it. And when the drivers love something, it usually means we have bad racing. So that's the only thing I'm skeptical about. So we'll see how this plays out. But this weekend, I'm taking Colton Herta to win this race. I know I picked him a couple weeks ago to win at Road America, and he ended up not winning. And I came on the post-race show and I said, I'm not taking Herta again. You ruined it for me, whatever. But here I am. I'm a sucker for punishment. I'm going to do it once again. We're going to take Colton Herta this weekend to win in the hybrid era debut. I think it's going to be a great battle. I think I had Will Power as one of the guys I was watching this weekend. I had him initially as my pick. I went away from it and I picked Hello, and I was like, you know what? Colton Herta, he's due. He's been so competitive, so good. I think he's going to do some great things this weekend. It'll be interesting to see the Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan cars with Lundgaard. I mean, Lundgaard ran really good here last year. Graham Rahal damn near won this race last year. Him and Herta were the best 2 cars until they both had pit road debacles that allowed Pelot to win. So be interesting to see what RNL can do this weekend. But I think Colton Herta will get the job done. He's been right there. I mean, if anybody could contend with Pelot this year, it's been Herta. Herta just isn't consistent enough to be up there in the points. So I'll take Herta this weekend. Then my dark horse, man, this man has absolutely taken a turnaround for the ages right here. I mean, the last 3 races, absolutely a complete 180. Romain Grosjean. I'm starting to be a believer again, man. I mean, I'm starting to think that maybe he isn't done yet. Maybe he does have an opportunity to make a resurgence back to the top of IndyCar, and maybe get another top ride here in the next few years. And the performance has been there. I mean, he finished 7th at Road America. Then he doubles down, goes fourth at Laguna Seca. I just don't think there's anything stopping Roman Grosjean right now. And he's kind of become the main driver there at Junko's Hollinger as of late with the whole Canapino debacle and drama there. I think that now Grosjean's really stepping up to the forefront. So I'm going to take him as my dark horse.
You could put, you could put Pastor Maldonado in that car and he'd be P1 for the team. So, it's not really hard to... Okay, never mind.
You're going to go on a tangent right there, dude. I was waiting for it.
My favorite this weekend, obviously, we're talking about the best open-wheel driver in North America right now, I believe. So consistent, so freaking fast, driving for probably the best team in IndyCar. It's so easy to choose Palou. I'm choosing Palou, not because of that, but I've been a Palou believer since the beginning, and I'm writing that out. Palou is my boy, and he's gonna get the first race win of the hybrid era. So I'm really excited for that. Man, this weekend is gonna be a great weekend for racing, man. I'm so excited. I'm going to be glued to the TV for the F1 race. I am going to be for the Xfinity race with Van Glizzy, with the Cup race as well. There's just going to be some good racing. I really think so. So, but for my dark horse, I'm going to echo everything Jay said. Man, what a freaking turnaround that we've seen. The only advice that I can give Grosjean from firsthand experience, whatever you do not sign a contract with AJ Foyt.
Or Arrow McLaren.
yeah. So, but I'm choosing Grosjean this weekend for dark horse.
Can you imagine if he did sign a contract with AJ Foyt and he was teammates with Ferrucci? Holy cow, dude. That would be the greatest rivalry inter-team of all time, dude. That would be nuts.
I can't. I was just more specifically stating on if you want better performances, don't go to Foyt. But
yeah,
man,
you didn't even put that together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that would be history telling right there, storybook telling right there. That would be nuts.
I want to see him duking it out right on pit road.
Yeah, dude.
Just like right in front of Larry Foyt.
Yeah,
Larry Foyt will be there painting his nails, and they're all fighting each other.
Oh man, the only thing is that we turn up 2 cars instead of 1 because they'd both be tearing each other up, so that'd be great.
Yeah, well, they had Carlos Munoz and Connor Daly as drivers one time.
That's true.
I think they'll be okay.
Oh man, yeah, there's gonna be an interesting race with this IndyCar. Reliability. We really don't know anything about this hybrid package. A lot of the tests weren't even televised or even showcased, so you don't even know what's gonna happen. You don't know what these guys are gonna do with the new power systems. We could see a lot of failures in this race. Championship contenders having failures that could change the outcome of this championship. This is going to be wild. It's going to be nuts. And that's why one thing we didn't even point out, though, that could be some guy that could be adaptable is Will Power as well as Scott Dixon. Veterans. They've raced under a lot of different cars and formats. If you're looking for someone that can find a result, those are guys to look at. Experience.
Don't forget Ericsson either, with his hybrid experience with F1.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great point to make right there. Yes, Marcus Ericsson. Yeah, so it's an unknown weekend, man. It's gonna be so much fun to watch. I'm gonna be glued to the TV. I'm gonna be watching practice. I'm gonna be watching qualifying. I'm gonna be watching the race. I want to see everything play out. I want to see how it's gonna work, and then we'll get some oval tests here sooner or later as well with these cars. And I don't know how that's gonna work with the regeneration systems on these ovals, but especially a lot of them that don't have any braking. I don't know how they're gonna have a regenerative system and how it's gonna work. So. We'll talk about that more when we get to the oval stuff, but we got to see how it's going to play out first on a road course. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. All right, Sunday, the Cup Series, the Grant Park 165. They shrunk the race length down from last year, actually, which is interesting. But the Chicago Street Course. This will be the watch party. You guys have voted. It's official today. It closed, and we will be doing a watch party on Sunday for the Cup race at Chicago Street Course. So. I can't wait to do that. It's going to be fun. Actually, out of all the choices we had this month, there was not one race on there that I was like, I don't want to do it. Every one of those ones on the poll were the ones. But this is the biggest landslide we've ever seen. 82% of you guys have voted voted for this race. So this is the one you guys wanted to watch. So we were gonna do it this Sunday. Tune in here to Dega Boys for the watch party. But it's time to go over our picks. I'm doing it, man. I'm going back to back with this man. This man is I'm a complete believer, and I think he's gonna get a second career cup win this weekend, back to back in Chicago Street. It's gonna be Shane Van Glizzy, man. I think he learned so much last year, and now with all the NASCAR experience he has under his belt over the last year or so that he's been running Xfinity, Truck, Cup, whatever it is, I think he learned so much. I think he knows how to position himself, how do these races play out. I think he's gonna qualify on pole, and I think he's gonna keep that thing up front all day long. And I think you'll look at guys like Reddick, Bell, potentially Larson, McDowell. I think Gillen's going to be a competitor. There's going to be about a good maybe 5-6 guys that you can look at to be contenders with him, but I think he's just going to be an outclass of the field here, and he's going to do it. He's going to go back to back, win Chicago Street Course again, and I'm here for it. Tell him we can add another diecast to his collection. This time a 16 machine. But my dark horse, I'm going to stick with it, man. I said it in the offseason, my bold prediction. I'm a believer still. I think that the front row cars are going to be freaking extremely quick this weekend. I think you're going to see Gillen and McDowell both in the top 10 all day long. And I think Gillen, if things play out right, man, we see drama, chaos, random things happen in this race. The pace will be there. I think we could see Gillen find himself in a victory position, man. Look what he did at Sonoma. Finished P10. Unbelievable run he had there. And I think he was even off strategy and still found a way to get back to P10, which was impressive to me. Watch out for Gillen this weekend. That's all I'm going to say. Watch out for Gillen. He might just shock the damn world this weekend.
Yeah. You know, I'll go with my favorite first. Of course, I'm going to go with Van Glizzy. I mean, again, I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't, wear my stuff today. I don't have anything. Now, I do have a reservation, though. All right? I do have a reservation. It's Colleague.
Yes.
That is my reservation about it. Awful. They have been so bad. I mean, we talked about it. We beat this dead horse left and right. What the hell were they doing with Hemrick and whoever's driving the other car? Does it really matter? I mean, it has been so bad. Their season has been so dismal. So bad. I mean, they must have gotten Hemrick for I don't know, 2 copper pennies a lap for this year. I mean, seriously, it's been so bad. It has been embarrassing. I just hope that they give them, if they can give them a, Richard Childress-esque prepared car, then Van Glizzy could do it. You know what I mean? He's got the chance. But if it's anywhere near Colleague equipment, it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough.
Well, that's a good point, but Allmendinger did win the Roval last year, and they were pretty terrible last year too, so.
Yeah, they were, but I think they took it to a whole new level this year. I think this year is just so bad, and I don't think they've done any development on any of the cars this year. I don't even think they've taken a half step in the right direction this year. I think they've only taken full strides backwards. Every race, every R&D, I mean, and then you start adding in the wrecks, you start adding in the laps down on the results finishes. I mean, it's been an awful season for Colleague, and that's just my only reservation about this.
Well, and Justin Haley did finish P2 last year for Colleague, so I don't know. I see what you're saying. Justin Haley's doing Justin Haley stuff with RWR now. Yeah.
Should we reassess his driving skill?
I would say so. I think he's a lot better than what people thought. I mean, even what I thought. I mean, honestly.
What does that say about Colleague?
Yeah, they just aren't good at driver scouting. Or they are, but then they don't know how to hold on to talent. I mean.
They don't know how to extract the talent.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's my only reservation. So there's that. And then for my dark horse, I'm not going to lie. I was going to choose Gillen too. Because what Jay just said, I firmly agree with. I really do think he's going to win a race this year. I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be before the playoffs or not. But besides the point, the dark horse I'm choosing is because of the drama that happened at Nashville. And I sincerely hope we see a continuation of that in Chicago. It's hosting Carsavar, baby. It's hosting Carsavar time, and take it to Burton, baby. Take it to Burton.
I love it. Wilson Carsavar. Oh man. All right. Next we'll do our NASCAR fantasy for this weekend's races. I think it's pretty easy for me with my fantasy line. I'm gonna take SVG because it's not gonna hurt me with uses. I'm gonna take Michael McDowell as well. I think, like I said, I think front row is gonna be up there all day long. I think they're gonna qualify good. I think they're gonna run good. I think Michael McDowell might legitimately be a contender for this win. A legitimate contender. I also think the same thing about Buescher. That's why I'm putting Buescher on my lineup. I think Buescher's going to be one of those guys, a legitimate contender for this win. I was going to put Truex in here, but I'm going to stick with the guys that were really good last year before the rain came in, and that is going to be Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. I think I'm going to fill them out with my lineup. Those two were the best two cars last year. SVG was the third best car. Those guys found ways to ruin the race for themselves, and SVG put himself in position to win that race at the end. So I'm going to put both of them on my lineup. I think they repeat and have competitive cars again this year.
All right. I'm going to go with Van Glizzy, and then I'm going to go with Hamlin. And then I'm going to go with McDowell as well. Now, I had a hard time choosing my last two drivers because I want a Buescher as well. Bell and Reddick, I think, are going to be stupid fast as well. But when I look at road course speed, Truex is there.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of uses on Truex, so I'm going to choose Truex this weekend. And then, Jay, I've been kind of thinking about it with my final pick here. Who's been the biggest sleeper this whole season in terms of points?
Yeah. Chase Elliott.
It's been Elliott. It's been Chase Elliott. It really has been. I mean, the dude is so freaking Hollywood. It quite literally pisses me off how bad he is when it comes to, saying what's right. And honestly, I feel like he is the PC principal off of South Park.
He is.
I mean,
dude.
it's terrible. But I think he could get. I think he could. I think he could be the best Hendrick car finisher this weekend. So that's my lineup.
Perfect. Matchups. Larson versus Elliott. Teammate matchup. The top two in points. I'm gonna take Larson over Elliott, and it's just because I feel like Larson will do something stupid, pile up half the field, and beat Elliott. I don't know, man. That's a tough battle. I'll just take Larson over Elliott, and that's mostly because, like you said, dude, I just can't stand Elliott. Like, it's just everything about him is just, yeah, like you say, it's Hollywood. I just can't. I can't pull for it, man. I can't.
Yeah, I seriously, it kind of pains me. It's almost, it almost like it physically hurts me. But I'm gonna choose the 9 over the 5. I am, and I think Larson's gonna do another stupid stunt this weekend because why not? I mean, I'm the points leader. I'm in anyways. Typical Larson crap. And I just think that, yeah. I mean, I have no faith in Larson right now. I'm starting not to really like Larson, man. I'm
Dude,
really
same.
not.
Yeah, same. I'm really starting to get over it, and it's a lot of it's with his fans too. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think he is the most
It's a
popular
cult.
driver in NASCAR. I think he's got more of a following than Elliott does right now. But they're not going to give it to Larson. They're going to give it to Elliott. But yeah, it's just he can't do no wrong. It's a cult. It's terrible. Next one, SVG versus Hamlin. I'm taking SVG, and this ain't no brainer. I'm not even going to explain my thought process here.
Although I think Hamlin's going to be fast, this is actually a really good lineup, Jay, because just what I talked about with my reservations on the race. Van Gisbergen is either going to be extremely fast or disappointment because of what Kaulig has provided. I don't know, but I am going to take Van Gisbergen over Hamlin. I think that's going to be I don't know, man. I have a lot of reservations. I really do.
I feel like if anybody could put a car on their backs for colleague, it's Allmendinger, it's SVG, and it was Justin Haley. I mean, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
And I felt more confident that he could put that team on his back and carry him than I do believe that they won't. I don't know. Maybe I'm an optimist. I don't know. That's the way I feel. But the reservation is valid. I mean, really, with what we've seen this year, I mean, what can you expect from colleague? Nothing. Next one is Gibbs versus Reddick. I'm gonna take Reddick just purely based upon the speed that he had last year. He was hands down the fastest car last year and found a way to lose this race. So I'll take Reddick over Gibbs.
Same. For the same reasons. Reddick is going to be fast this weekend.
And then the next one would be AJ Allmendinger and Austin Cindric. I'm taking the AJ Allmendinger, as Jared would say, over Austin Spindrick.
Spindrick. I like that.
I mean, look, he's the one that created the freaking drama BS crap race that we saw this Sunday.
Yep. I'm going to take Allmendinger as well. Just because it's AJ, man. That's it. That is it.
Yeah. We're gonna always remember AJ Allmendinger's stint in NASCAR and be like, man, he was one of the most underrated freaking race car drivers we ever had. Like we look like kind of fondly how we look back at like Montoya and Ambrose. I feel like that's how we'll look at Allmendinger. Yep. Like never really a guy that was ever gonna win a championship or be a championship contender, but a guy that you could be like, you put him in the right scenario, on the right day, and the right equipment, and he could get more out of that car than anybody else could have in that situation. And that's how I feel about Montoya. That's how I feel about Ambrose, man. And that's how I'm going to feel about Allmendinger when he's finally gone. So I agree. All right. That will do it, man. That will cap off the podcast for tonight. We'll do a little bit of wrap up here. We'll talk about Kick real quick. So we wanted to stream on Kick tonight. Unfortunately, I had some issues on my end. I'm not sure what's happening there. We'll do some more test streams here in a minute. Figure out what was going on there. But we're going to be streaming on Kick. So go follow us on Kick. We're going to be streaming on there as well. So if you like following us on YouTube, go follow us on there. And we're probably going to have some streams that are going to be Kick exclusive. We'll let you know which streams those are in particular. But we're going to be doing a little bit of both, back and forth. Maybe stream on both. Maybe do Kick exclusive ones. Maybe some YouTube exclusive ones. So you're definitely going to want to follow us on Kick if you want to stay up to date with everything we're doing and streaming. Go follow us on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I think I'm going to try my best to really start promoting on all of those social medias as in-depth as I can over the next couple months. As we could try to build our Kick following. I think we're going to try and build those followings as well. To try and have more stuff for you guys to invest in. Also go follow us on Discord. Our Discord is thriving. Awesome place to check out news, a community, and also a community that you can engage that might like the type of racing that you like, or maybe racing you don't like. Maybe you can learn more about it. So come join us on Discord and check that out. Is my mic not? Oh man, 1 second. Can you hear me? Hello. Is my mic working now?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, sweet. I don't know what that was. Yes. So go follow us on Discord, thriving Discord there. Link for that is in the description below. So make sure you go check that out. Also go follow us on Patreon. We're gonna be doing some new things on Patreon here in the near future. Just trying to keep more content on there. Another way for you guys to help support a channel. We currently not having or having issues with our YouTube channel at the moment. That's kind of why we took a little bit of a hiatus this weekend. Maybe some things we were doing in our personal lives, as well as trying to reevaluate the future of the Dega Boys channel, because we want to continue to make good content for you guys and produce content on the internet. We just want to do it in the correct ways, if that makes sense, in the ways that are justifiable for us being on these platforms. So that's kind of what was happening in the last few days. But we're back. We're gonna keep making content. It's not gonna go away. We're gonna maybe not at the same consistent rate we were for the first 16 months, but we will have content come out. Like the video we did, or the stream we did last night. How fun was that? Tom got to do some racing and ended up making a cool video off of it too. So go check that out. It's a little bit of a highlight video, a little bit of a meme review, recap, whatever you want to call it, of everything that happened last night. And we're going to be making a lot more of those. Those are going to be fun to do. Kind of more relaxed, I guess, per se. Maybe not for Tom, but it'll be more relaxed for me. So yeah, we'll chill back and enjoy that with him and for his journey. I mean, you should explain what you're doing with that actually for anybody that doesn't really understand what that was.
Yeah, so last night, well, actually, what I should say is we're gonna make a run at the IndyCar Pro Series. Now, I know it's gonna be pretty stacked. All right, there's gonna be lots of competition, but I feel like we could have a shot at it with the right amount of practice and the right amount of support. We could absolutely go at it. I think we got a great support system, Jay. I think you know, with you and with the guys at Nexus. And Nexus has committed to help with this as well, especially with anybody in their own Discord as well. They're going to be making a run at it as well. So, but look, last night, Nexus and Backmarkers, if you guys remember the Backmarkers League that we broadcasted, they got together and created a IndyCar League on Monday nights. In fact, you know, every Monday now, we're going to be racing in that series. You guys will see me behind the wheel. I'll have my VR headset on, and you'll see Jay as well. Jay will be the crew chief there and talking through things. But yeah, like last night, we had a great run, man. We qualified P5 on blacks. Everybody else was on reds around us. We were doing really good. Had a little bit of an issue going into turn 2 at Sebring. It was Sebring modified, actually. And so I got rear-ended there. Got a little bit of broke suspension, and the rear wing was gone. But we came back out, and we made a valiant recovery all the way. I think we dropped, down to like 15th or 16th? 19th?
Yeah, 19th.
There you go.
Lowest, yeah.
Then we recovered to a P6. So that was a really good race. It was a really good test of patience, really, because we had the speed. I mean, we had everything going for us. And so, like, so Monday nights, we're going to be doing that. We're not going to be streaming tomorrow or this weekend for any of racing going on, just because of 4th of July. So we're going to be doing some practices, though. The first qual race for the IndyCar Pro Series is going to be at Long Beach. So we're going to be doing a lot of testing at Long Beach. Probably start a little bit tomorrow. Maybe stream a little bit of that. And just try to prepare ourselves. Do a couple fuel runs. Do a couple tire runs. Do a little bit of tweaks on the setups and try our best to get ourselves ready for that qualifying. Now, that qualifying also, it has street courses, road courses, and ovals, so a lot of disciplines to go into it. But look, like what Jay said, that race last night was really fun. Jay put up a little bit of a highlight video. I watched a little bit of it. It's pretty funny. So go ahead, check that out. Again, it was a really good night, especially the recovery that we had for that series. So a lot more good to come, I think. I think we can win a race, Jay.
Oh, I agree.
I think that just a little bit better luck. Last night we didn't have the luck of AJ Foyt behind us, but maybe in the coming races we can. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. IndyCar Pro qualifying starts July 11th, so we've got 9 more days. 9 more days to prepare for this, and we're going to be hitting it hard. So it is going to be fun. I'm going to be really excited about it.
Yes. And there's a lot of nuances and stuff that learning on my end as well that I think yeah, like Tom said, we'll run some practice, maybe run some fuel runs or some whatnot. We could get some of the strategies down, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I mean, really, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It's gonna be a whole new thing on this channel and more different content that you guys can enjoy as we're doing a lot of different changes. New dawn here at the Dick Blaze YouTube channel, branching off into new things. But the watch party this Sunday, tune in, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be we might, I don't know, we'll talk about it, but we may do 2 this month. It's just all going to depend on how things work out. We really feel unfortunate that we missed that Road America Watkins Glen race. So even if we don't do 2 watch parties, maybe we'll do something extra special or something. Maybe we'll throw up like a random Kick exclusive stream or something where we BS for an hour or something. Just yeah, we'll do some. We'll make it up to you guys because yeah, we have kind of had a little hiatus there for a little bit, but we're back. We're doing our thing. Just continuing to build the greatest motorsports community on the internet, interacting with you awesome, fine people on the internet as well. So, what else do we have going on, Tom? So yeah, nothing going on this week, mostly because of the holiday. So I hope everybody has a good 4th of July. Make sure you guys be safe out there. Don't need any accidents or issues out there.
Hey, keep your fingers.
Yeah, keep your fingers. That's where I was going with that. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So Sunday, that'll be our next live stream that we'll be doing. So tune in. There'll be some different video content coming out. I've got some ideas of stuff I want to do. Maybe another one of those top 5 moments of the week or something to that effect. I'll make another one of those, even if it's not top 5, maybe a top 3. So at the limited amount of streams that we've done this week. But so stay tuned. Lots of great stuff coming up. Trying to think, what else am I missing? Oh yeah, go check out our merch store. Yeah, go check out our merch store. Go buy some Dega Boys swag. Get you some BDN stuff, some Big Daddy NASCAR, Big BDI, Big Daddy IMSA, some Andy Jesus. I mean, might go get one of those milk carton shirts for Joey Logano because that might not live forever. You know, it's turning up right now. So yeah, lots of cool merch stuff. Go buy your water bottle, hats, t-shirts, pants, shorts, whatever you want. I mean, there's unlimited amount of stuff on there that you can get all swagged up with. So all those go back to help all those proceeds go back to help us out this YouTube channel, continuing to make awesome, great content, new content for you guys here on YouTube. Is there anything else that I missed here tonight, Tom?
I don't think so. I think you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah. So yeah, just stay tuned. And we'll try to figure out this whole kick thing as well, so we can get that up as well for yeah. I don't know what the issue was here tonight, but that was unfortunate. We'll get that figured out and put together for you guys. And I'll also have that watch party scheduled for you guys, so you guys can turn your notifications on and be notified. This has been another fantastic, fun, amazing podcast here on the Dega Boys Network, episode 77. And we will be back with you guys shortly for another awesome video here on the Dega Boys Broadcasting Network. And with that being said, have a great 4th of July. We love you guys, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Little Country Handy Pillow.
A big push by the 5, and up the racetrack, he catches the 1. Chastain into the wall. Big contact, caution comes out again.
Are you tired of sitting in limbo? Lost somewhere between planes of existence?
Will he have enough fuel to come all the way back around? They're wrecking behind him. The caution will come out again. There's more overtime.
That does it. We are not going to just sit here anymore. We want some goddamn answers.
Why isn't anybody telling us anything?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
It's about fucking time.
2 to go from Nashville. The 5 doesn't go. They bottle up behind him. Big wreck for the 8.
Out of fuel.
5 was out of fuel. Caution comes out again.
Certainly want to thank you for all your patience. We know that you are eager to get going, and we will certainly pass on any information as it becomes more available.
White flag here by 2, yellow's out, crap. Stay fuel.
One more time, we're going to try overtime. They didn't get to the white flag.
All right, everyone, it looks like we are all ready to move on.
Off turn 4, Logano is going to win in Nashville.
Finally, we can all move on.
All right, everyone, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the gates of hell.